Ladies and gentlemen, and hockey fans of all ages, Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome back to another exciting edition of Randy Talk Hockey. My name is Randy Dillon. It's a brand new year. We are in 2020. We are getting close to the NHL All-star break. Then we got Trade Center, and then the playoff, the race to the playoff. It is an exciting time for hockey fans. But the league still goes as games are being played. What we're going to do today, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to start off talking with the conferences, teams that possibly have a chance that make the playoffs that are struggling, and then we'll get a little bit of the All-Star break and a little bit trade bait as well. We're first going to start off talking about the Eastern Conference, as it is really the standings are getting really close to set. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they are back in the top three of the Atlantic. It was tough sledding for the first few months, but everyone knew they were going to be back. They're getting scoring from Kucherov, Point, Stamkos. They're getting all those players. They're back in the 40, 50-point range. They're not going to have their career highs like last year. Well, after the start, they did it. Unless they have a great season. And Andrei Vasilevsky's numbers are really turning up in a good way. So they both look fine. It's going to be hard if they're going to challenge Boston, but they have a chance to fight for the second spot for home ice in the first round. The Columbus Blue Jackets, ladies and gentlemen, they are still alive and strong in the playoff race. They're only 2 points out right now of the final wild card behind the Philadelphia Flyers. They have a lot of injury. Korpisalo is a huge loss. But the Jackets keep finding ways. Now, if the Jackets are approaching the deadline, I would say they want to maybe a veteran backup, a top six forward, and a defense. They gave up so much last year. I don't know if they can really acquire anything come the deadline, but we'll see how the Jackets do as the season continue. A lot of talk, ladies and gentlemen, has been about the Montreal Canadiens. They are struggling. They've lost 7 in a row. They have a big game tonight against the Ottawa Senators. If they lose this game, I think all bets are off for the Canadiens and Marc Bergevin. It's a failed season. They're going to be really right now. They're 7 points out of a playoff spot. And this point of the season, if you are getting to 7 to 10 points down, you got to go on an incredible run after the All-Star break. If you got to maybe lose like 3-4 games, you got to lose a lot of them in overtime regulation. If you do lose, not looking good for the Habs. They're interesting going into the deadline as well because they got guys like Gallagher, Tatar, Petrie, all with a year left after this deal. So they can get some good assets, but they want to compete either now because you got players like Carey Price and Shea Weber in their prime. I think the question is going to be for Marc Bergevin, if he's still part of the Canadian management group and the GM, do you ask Carey Price to waive his no-trade clause? I know he's a franchise player, but we've seen time this year in his postgame. He is frustrated. He's not happy where he is possibly. He wants to go out to win, but he signed that long 8-year deal worth $10 million a year or more. The cards are in his hand, but it'll be interesting if Bergevin, if he's still the GM, will ask Carey Price to move that in the offseason. Sidney Crosby is getting close to return for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He is practicing the regular contact jersey. Big boost for the Pens after losing forward Jake Gensel for the next 4 to 6 months. So the Pens are going to have to figure out they need to get a top 6 forward for them. But what are they going to do? They really have an asset in Alec Galchenyov and possibly Matt Murray. But Galchenyov, I don't think you're going to get really a good barter. This is the 3rd team he's on, possibly going to his 4th team. Not many teams are going to take a risk at the young forward. Remember, he went high in the 2012 draft. I believe he was 3rd or 4th, maybe 5th overall in that, 3rd overall, 4th in that draft. And he's already going to be on his 4th team. Not good. Just hasn't worked out in Pittsburgh or Arizona. Who's going to take the risk? I don't know. The one card Rutherford does have is Matt Murray. I think the Penguins have given the keys to the car to Tristan Jarry, who's been fantastic. He's going to the All-Star break along with Chris Letang. So at the moment, the Penguins, that will be the big asset the Penguins have. They want to get an upgrade on forward and defense. Moving on to the Western Conference Final, a big battle of Alberta night between the Flames and the Oilers. They are fighting for 3rd in the Pacific Division. But speaking of the Flames, I've been looking at this on social media. Fans are wondering, should Brad Treliving decide to go for it all at this deadline? I'm going to say yes. You look at the Flames, Matthew Tkachuk and Mark Giordano's contract and Johnny Gaudreau's contract are expired in 3 years. Mark Giordano has a few years. You're going to have to pay one of the two. Who are you going to pay? You have some good affordable deals. You got cap bait trading for a league. You'll get more cap bait upcoming next year after a couple of players go off the book. So it's going to be up to Tree Living to see what he's going to do. He did sign Rasmus Anderson to a 5-year deal, 5-year deal, but it was a good cap hit, a 4.5, very friendly. But if you want to win, if you're the Calgary Flames, you have to make the decision to trade first-round picks, trade some assets. I know the biggest asset they have is Dylan Dubé, but he's doing great. They do have some other good assets as well, but it all comes down to Tyler Pearson, the goalie in the American League. It all depends on what Mr. Tree Living will do. The deadline fast approaching. The team could use a top 6 winger to help them. The Chicago Blackhawks are falling out. I don't know if they're going to go on a credible run like they did last year. The big question is going to be, what are they going to do with Robin Leonard? Leonard said, I'm not taking a hometown discount. I want to get paid. So the question for the Hawks, they have Corey Crawford and Leonard as both expire at the end of this year as UFAs. They're going to have to make a decision. Are they going to flip both, or are they going to pay Leonard? I don't know what Stan Bowman, the Hawks, are going to do. I know Stan Bowman might not even be the Hawks GM after this season, but only time will tell how. But with that decision where Leonard's not going to take a pay cut, it might strap the Hawks because they're already in cap crunching numbers as it is. John Haynes is the new head coach of the Nashville Predators. Peter Laviolette was let go earlier this week. Haynes is 1-1 this season. And he got a goal from a goalie earlier this week from Pekka Rinne, the first goalie to score since Mike Smith in 2013. Congratulations, Pekka Rinne. The Predators are 5 points out of the playoff. Will Hines be able to get the team going? Big thing's going to be special teams, getting the top 6 players going. But I think the big advantage John Hines has in Nashville, which he didn't have in Jersey, the much better defensive group players. And the big thing going to be the goaltending has to be really good in Pekka Rinne and UC Saros. What will the Winnipeg Jets do at the deadline? They're in a kerfuffle. They're right now looking on the playoff spot. Barely. I think they're tied in points with the Canucks, so they're just 1 point now. But it's going to be how they're going to improve the defense. The whole Dustin Byfuglien situation, he's back skating. He's not with the team, though, but if he decided to come back, that cap comes back on. So the Jets are a little bit in a bit of tight straits. And finally, we're going to talk about the All-Star Game, All-Star break coming up. It looks like players are reluctant to go now. Ovechkin said he's not going for the second straight year. Marc-Andre Fleury said he's not going. The interesting comments were from Detroit Red Wings forward Dylan Larkin saying he doesn't want to go. I know it's been a tough year for the Detroit Red Wings. And I know the All-Star Game isn't really exciting because these players get paid so much and all that. They want the time off to enjoy. But as a professional, this is what you're an ambassador in a game. You're there for the fans. The fans want to see you play. They want to see the best. They want to see the best talent out there. I really enjoy the skill competition. The 3-on-3 overtime is interesting, but not really that great. The first few years were good, so maybe that's it. Maybe just have a 2-day skill competition. I don't know what you're going to do if you're the NHL, the All-Star. But as a fan, for me, after the skills, I kind of lose interest because you see some great plays, but not that exciting, though. And finally, we're getting trade bait. The teams we know that are most likely out of it at this point, the Los Angeles Kings, Detroit Red Wings, the Ottawa Senators, the New Jersey Devils, and most likely the San Jose Sharks. From these teams, you look at the trade bait. We know Chris Kreider is on the market for the Rangers. Rangers are still in it, but they're barely. I would say that after the All-Star break, we're going to see them kind of fall off. Then you got Tyler Toffoli, the Kings. They really need some assets to help improve that team. You look at the San Jose Sharks. You got Brendan Dillon on expiring term. What are they going to do? They really need assets because they don't have a first-round pick or even assets to help them going forward. The Ottawa Senators, you got Craig Anderson and Mark Borwitzky on expiring deal. I know Anderson can really help a team that have struggling for goaltending. Maybe the Vegas Golden Knights. And then you got the New Jersey Devils where you look at Vatanen and Wayne Simmonds. But I look at a guy also like Kyle Palmieri where he has a year left on his term. You might be able to fetch something for him if the player wants a 20 goals, 20 goal scorer with a year left at $4.5 million cap hit. So that might be something to look at. But that's all I got for you today, ladies and gentlemen. As the weeks go by, it will be more and more exciting. The race to the playoff, the trade deadline, and then we get to the Stanley Cup playoff. It's an exciting time to watch hockey, but if your team's not doing so well, just watch the other teams. It's still fun to watch. My name is Randy Dillon. Hope you enjoyed this episode, ladies and gentlemen. As always, watch some hockey.